More offers of support for Ukraine. South Korea's Yoon Suk Yeol met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskiy on Saturday during a surprise trip to Kyiv. Yoon said his country will send a bigger batch of military supplies, as well as $150 million in humanitarian aid. Last year, South Korea gave Ukraine non-lethal supplies, such as body armor and helmets. His visit comes after he traveled to Lithuania for the NATO Alliance Summit and visited Poland this week, where he expressed solidarity with Ukraine against Russia's invasion. Zelensky asked Yoon to boost military support when they first met in May. In his nightly address late Friday, Zelensky said Russian forces are pouring their resources into stopping Ukraine's troops from pressing on with their counteroffensive. Kyiv is working to take back swaths of land in the east and southern part of the country, all captured by Russian forces. But Ukrainian military analysts suggest the move is not easy for Ukrainian forces. Russian accounts said its forces had repelled Ukrainian attacks in eastern Donetsk region, including around Bakhmut. Reuters was unable to verify battlefield reports.
The US and Russia are dangerously close to an armed conflict. This year, 2023, New Delhi will be the capital of global diplomacy. For a country as diverse as ours, with 88% of the population illiterate, it was a very big deal to write a constitution, and that too, the world's largest. Meanwhile, if we may, here's a Republic Day gift from India for the BBC. A list of suggestions for the BBC for their upcoming documentaries. Number 1, the Kohinoor and the colonial loot. Number 2, an outdated monarchy and unhealthy obsession with the royals. Number 3, racism in 2023. We're waiting. Email exchanges from inside the BBC, they talk about the risk of violating Indian laws. It's easier to rake up the freedom of speech debate, but does it give anyone a free pass to knowingly violate the law? America supports India because it needs India's support in return. And India is working with the US because it suits India's interests. This is how geopolitics works. Last night, he diffused a crisis with his defense minister. But today, Netanyahu was confronted with a new problem. His cabinet seems to have rebelled against him. The UK is looking at the Indian subcontinent to fill its coffers. That India seems to be negotiating from a position of power, like a partner and not a former colony.